यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तपोभिक्षीणपापानां शान्तानां वीतरागिणां मुमुक्षूणामपेक्षोऽयम् आत्मबोधो विधीयते। फोर्टी-एट्थ श्लोका, पेज नंबर 118। आत्मैवेदं जगत्सर्वम् आत्मनोऽन्यन्न विद्यते। आत्मनोऽन्यन्न विद्यते। मृदो यद्वद्घटादीनि स्वात्मानं सर्वमीक्षते। So the yesterday's concept that was brought in, सम्यक विज्ञानवान योगी स्वात्मनि एव अखिलम जगत। स्वात्मनि एव अखिलम जगत, the entire field of multitude called jagat is perceived as being supported, being resolved in the Atma Chaitanya itself. So that same concept is extended for further clearer understanding. So here it says, Atma eva idam jagat sarvam. It almost sounds like the first vakya of this will keep happening, up and down, in and out. So whole night it was like this. So the electricity will keep going, coming. Don't get distracted by it.
Shall we open the doors?
If the sun comes, it will reflect straight. That's why they must have closed it. So this particular first sentence looks like the very beginning, the opening statement of Ishavasyopanishad. ईशावास्यमिदगं सर्वं यत्किंचित् जगत्यां जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जीतः मा गृधः कस्य स्विद्धनम्. The same concept is being taken here as well. There the standpoint is clearly from the standpoint of samashti. Here it is from the sadhaka who has experienced the self, and from that standpoint it is being said, though both of them are indicating directly towards the Paramatma Chaitanya. One as a conclusion of Tvampada Vichara, the other as the Tatpada Vichara, both abiding in Asipada Vichara. So Atma va idam, Atma eva idam jagat sarvam. when this statement is made that there is nothing other than Atma as Jagat. Let me repeat the sentence. There is nothing other than the Atma Tattva as Jagat. Extension of it would be that the entire Jagat is nothing but Atma Chaitanya only. Now, for a very innocent, sincere sadhaka, this seems to be quite a confusing statement. Earlier you said neti, 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 neti. We finally got convinced and we accepted what you were saying. Now you are saying everything is that Atma Tattva only. Tell one statement clearly. Tadekam vada nischitya. Yena shreyoham apnuyam. Tell one statement clearly, don't keep fluctuating like the electricity from this end of the fluctuation to that end of the fluctuation. Because it seems contradictorian. On one side you say that everything is neti. It is nashvara. It doesn't have more than what you are attached to, therefore detach. And if you go into the scriptural study, especially in Viveka Chudamani, he says that there are 5 animals cited. Patanga, Kuranga, Matangavat. So there are 5 animals stated. Each one does not have a control over one sense organ and it perishes, it dies. And what to talk of the human being wherein none of the 5 are under control. So you lose your control. Therefore, discipline yourself, gather that mastery over it. Do not get attached to the Nashvara Prapancha and transcend it. You should look at Kathopanishad. Nachiketa, his answer to Yamadharmaraja is very profound. When Yamadharmaraja is questioned by Nachiketa that for the third boon, see, the first boon he said, as a responsibility to my elderly parents, let them, for whatever they have done, be excused, and let his antakarana become shanta chitta. The exact words which Nachiketa uses. So his responsibility towards his parents is fulfilled. Second responsibility, he says, it is to the Jagat where I have been an integral part of. Therefore, let me practice the Nachiketa Agni. Give me the second boon. After the first 2 boons are done, the way he responds, remembers and shows his maturity and understanding, Yamadharmaraja is, I can also understand Yamaji's predicament, that he is sitting on the threshold of birth and death, right at the threshold. And probably it's a very lonely place. Other than Chitragupta, there is no one else. And certainly not to have a very meaningful dialogue. And when he finds Nachiketa, it is not just some wayward kid, but he is extremely intelligent, extremely sharp, and the way he shows his maturity and understanding, he seems to be thrilled. So he gifts him Bahushankalam, like he gives some, like the kings that we see in the movies, right? Hum khush hue, and he pulls out a mala and gives. So he takes out a mala and gives golden mala. Then he says, now for the third one, he says, I want to learn about that Atma Chaitanya Tattva and nobody else to tell that better than you. Because you understand this side of the world, you understand that side of the world. Some say it exists, some say it doesn't exist, some say it continues, some say it doesn't continue. Whatever it is worth, you know both sides and you know the substratum. Therefore, no one better than you. Give me that knowledge. Now, a 5-6-year-old child asking you for the Atma Tattva, you would also want to confirm first. This is something serious, It is not like in those days these were not there. But it is not like a Game Boy or a 5-star chocolate or a ice cream. So he tries to distract him by giving him all kinds of boons. He says, "Oh Yamadharmaraja, when you are sending me back to my family, you will not send me empty-handed. All of these will be anyway included. Why should I waste my boon for that?" What a sharp fellow. Without asking, he has already confirmed all that. And then he says, in a very serious note, Shvobhava martyasya yadantakaitad sarvendriyanam jarayanti tejaha api sarvam jivitam alpameva. Therefore, a very meticulous, and that too coming from a 6-year-old, is quite an inspiring statement. The profoundness of it. He says, I do not care for anything that which you are enticing me with. Tavaiva vahas tavanritya gite. Keep all of that which you are enticing me with yourself, and if you do not want to wish to grant the third boon, keep that also with you. Otherwise, I don't want anything other than that. And it is not like a child who is trying to be just a hut karte na, that once I want this, meaning I want this only. No, it is not that. He gives a very logical statement. Shva abhavaha martyasya yadanta kaitatu. The entire creation does not have a guaranteed tomorrow. What are you enticing me with that? There is no sense of permanency. Been there, done that, seen it. I do not have any interest in it. Even if you give and I tend to indulge in it, sarvendriyanam jarayanti tejaha. All the indriyas are anyway bound to lose its capacity, more so because these are indulging, so I will lose it faster. See, he makes both statements. Anyway, those organs of perception and action will lose their capacity, even if I am self-disciplined at a later stage. This will happen at a quicker rate. And then you are enticing me with this long life that, and then because I should not go through the pain of seeing the suffering of my younger ones and next generation, you are extending their life also for 7 generations. Api sarvam jivitam alpameva. Ask a person who is maybe in their teens, they said, in my long life and experience. That shows their inexperience. But ask anybody who is worth their salt, Baba, you have lived 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, 90 years. Ask anyone, they will say, the whole life it seems like it has gone as though like a wink of my eyes. As though it was yesterday. Meaning it is not something which has been, however long it is, doesn't seem like long. So what are you enticing me with these things of that which is of a nashvara nature? Give me that which is of a nature of permanency. So when you hear on one end of the spectrum the statement that all of this is nothing but anatma nashwara, and now you are saying that all of this is atma, paramatma satta. Very confusing. Can you decide which end? If not, at least a middle path. No, there is no middle path. Either you are on this end or that end. It is like, almost feels like. When the child gives the logic, the child is wrong. When the parent gives the same logic, the parent seems right. Right? It cannot be double standards, right? This is when the jiva is looking at the prapancha, that individual is looking at that prapancha from the sense of limitation, therefore sees nothing but, perceives nothing but, experiences nothing but limitation alone. That perception, that experience of being the limitation and experiencing the limitation is called anatma. See, this spashtata has to be there, otherwise it seems very contradicting, very confusing. From the jiva standpoint, when the Shastra analyzes that you are being the limitation, being the body, mind and intellect, attached with it, continuing to exist and function as a body, mind and intellect, you look at the entire creation as a sense of limitation that is either to be owned, gained, refused, rejected, whatever be the case. You keep running for it or running away from it. That entire field of action is anatma, limited. And in that they did not spare. They said everything is in the field of karma, all the way up to even Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, all of this, puja, all of this comes under karma, therefore limitation only. But that limitation which will unbind you from limitation, that field of karma will prep your mind to reach to that focal point, beyond which there is no other purpose or utility of those sadhanas. Now when he is saying that sarvam eva idam jagat sarvam, atma eva sarvam jagat idam, that this entire creation called jagat is nothing but an extension of that Atma Chaitanya and supported, substantiated, being the substratum of that Jagat, resolved into the Atma Chaitanya, that without that Atma Chaitanya there is nothing called Jagat. Therefore, everything that Jagat is nothing but Atma Chaitanya alone. I must have said about 5-6 sentences so far. All those 5-6 sentences in the same sequential logic, without missing the steps. And you cannot pick one of the statement and say this is what it means. Though on a very superficial level, any one of the sentences can seem to mean what this sentence, this shloka is saying. But all of them put together gives samyak vijnanam, a comprehensive understanding. Therefore, has to be understood in that sequence. So that understanding is because that on this Atma Chaitanya, Jagat is the superimposed existence. Whatever we perceive knowing that it is only a projected reality. It is experienced, it is seen, and yet from the standpoint that it is merely a projected reality. And the focus is not on the projected reality, the focus is on unto what has it been projected upon, without which there is no projection. That unto which all of this has been projected is my own nature, is my own self, the Atma Chaitanya Tattva. Yesterday also I said this statement, I will repeat it. Therefore, realization doesn't mean that I am Brahman, therefore now I have realized. That is only a partial statement. I am that Atma Chaitanya which is Brahma Tattva, and I am the Adhara of this entire Jagat, unto which all of this is a projected reality. You say these three sentences, then the definition of realization becomes clearer, complete. Again, that completeness is what was claimed as Samyak Vijnanam. Samyak Vijnanam, that which is the complete, comprehensive understanding and subjective experience. Once this understanding is ascertained and we abide in it, that is when I see everything as my own being, as my own extension. So while growing up, I never used to understand that when you have to give something or take something, you have to use your right hand, and the logic given is left hand ganda haath hai. That is what it was told then. I used to have serious reactions inside. First, अच्छी तरह से धोता हूँ. Second, गंदा हो अच्छा हो, it is me alone. If it is me alone, how can it be ganda or acha? Am I getting across? Because it is my own extension. It is only later that we understand that right hand coordinates with the left part of your brain, and the left part of your brain is where a lot of analytical processing happens, whereas the right part of the brain does the emotional, which coordinates with your left hand. Therefore, when you are doing something important, don't do it from the emotional side of your brain, do it from the analytical side of your brain, so that there is logic, reason and everything associated with it. Oh, so it is not ganda or acha, it is how it has to be functioning. Then I am okay. That both of them are acha, but this is more specifically acha for that particular utility. Otherwise, how can one side be good and the other side be not good? So we do not see the prapancha henceforth from the perspective of good or bad. It took me a very long time of contemplation to grasp this concept, appreciate it and experience that. That the prapancha cannot be bifurcated into good or bad. The prapancha is essentially divine. Prapancha is nothing but my own extension. and I am the very nature of that divine. Therefore, the extension also, that which is supported, that for which I am the substratum, cannot be good or bad. It is the same extension called divinity. Therefore, we say Purnamadaha Purnamidam. Everything is Paripurnatva only. Cannot be anything even an iota less or an iota more. Therefore, hate no one. See, the compassionate way to look at the world and understand the world, say supposing somebody has done wrong. Identify that which is wrong, censure that which is wrong, and if possible, try correcting that which is wrong. But what we end up doing is, we end up with irsha, dvesha, asuya, kruratva towards the person itself. The person itself is neither good nor bad. It is essentially divine. How they are expressing because of their layers of vasana or prarabdha, that may be in alignment with dharma or adharma. Once this understanding settles in, then the effort is not born out of irsha, asuya, dvesha. It is born from the understanding that it is my own extension. Compassion becomes the very way of life. Compassion doesn't mean less of passion. Compassion hai bhai. Compassion meaning loving, caring, selfless approach. Atma eva idam sarvam jagat. Anyat na vidyate. Vidyate yanaya. There is nothing other than this. The otherness can exist only if there is something other than this. So what should be the sadhana? What should be the perspective? How should I function in the world? Because unless we bring down these abstract statements for our understanding and application, it remains something we appreciate but never experience. If there is nothing other than this Atma Chaitanya, otherness doesn't exist. Therefore, the sadhana should be that we critically view every thought, word, deed, movement from within to without. Where am I standing to look at the situation? Is it with a sense of otherness, or is it with the sense of division, or is it from the sense of oneness? It's a very, very difficult sadhana. To constantly view from that perspective alone. For us it is a sadhana, for a realized one it is immediate, instant experience of functioning. That is the only difference. There is a Mahatma whose works, when I read, influenced me a lot. He is from Kanyanad, Kerala. His name is Papa Ramdas. You may have heard of him. Called Anandashram. So his guru told him that everything and everyone is nothing but that Rama Tattva only. And you are Ramadasa. Therefore, henceforth your name will be Swami Ramadasa. And he was initiated into sannyasa. We have also heard this statement so many times. But he took it to heart sincerely. When somebody gave him a shawl because it was cold, he said, Rama has protected this dasa. When somebody came, threatened him and snatched that shawl from him, he said, Rama came in that format for helping another dasa. When he was hungry and somebody said, you should दिखने के लिए हट्टा कट्टा दिखते हो, कुछ करते क्यों नहीं? And he was traveling somewhere, walking somewhere. I said, great is my Swami that if the sevaka requires food, he will provide. And just after a few minutes, somebody walking past comes to him and, gives him an elaborate meal. And sometimes somebody gives him the leftover eaten food. Both standpoints, he says, Rama knew how much this dasa needed and that was provided. If somebody censured him, he said, Rama came in that format to work on this particular aspect of mine. And I am thankful that Rama had to, poor fellow, had to take this form to come and teach me. A very intense sadhana. But that is from the bhakti standpoint. Here, it is from the Jnana standpoint, wherein if there is any divisiveness, divisions in my perspective, I am being not a sadhaka. If I am functioning from the standpoint of oneness, and that oneness being divine, nothing less than that platform. Because oneness can be seen at various platforms. You form a group, you form a lobby, you form a clique, and say, we are oneness, we are one in this group. We think, we behave, and we have same kind of attitude. Oneness. See, Chinmaya Mission is there all across the globe. I was in Sri Lanka. There was some World Cup or something happening. And unmindful that I was in Sri Lanka, when there was a match between India and Sri Lanka, the student, the chick that I was working there from Lanka, he made a statement which was quite an educational statement for me. I must have exuberantly said, for some win or some kind of a thing, yes. Then he said, Swamiji, we Sri Lankans also belong to you only, right? And he made a very simple, innocent statement. That jolted me from within. I said, बात तो सही है. He was pointing at oneness and I was being jubilant about the divisiveness. When I could have argued at the vyavaharik level, that would not make sense. But when you look at it from the adhyatmic sense, it made profoundness at that moment that it gave clarity. That Baba, you slipped to function from divisiveness, raise your standard and function from that oneness. Because there is nothing other than this Atma Chaitanya to be scared of saying there is otherness. इसके अलावा अगर कुछ है तो you can think of it. There is nothing other than it. And all that which we see, experience is nothing but a projected reality on my own self. There is nothing other than it. See, wherever you find that oneness, expression of love becomes natural. I was at somebody's house. I saw this grandmother's perspective. When a toy was given to her grandson, he immediately kind of pulled it apart. Like within half a day, he pulled some moving train or moving car or something with a remote. He pulled apart the entire remote, he pulled apart the entire car. And her perspective, out of love, to look at it was, बड़ा होके ये scientist बनेगा. After he grows up, he'll be a scientist. He was so inquisitive to see what was inside that was making it move. Therefore, he completely removed all the parts. 2 days later, I was doing some yajna there. 2 days later, the neighbor's kids also come. There is one kid, they're using some toys and playing with her grandson. It slipped out of their hand and fell, and it also broke to pieces. And her immediate, बड़ा होके नालायक बनेगा ये, श्रद्धा ही नहीं है, चीजों को ऐसा तोड़ता है कोई. I was like, see, in that perspective, both places it was thoroughly destroyed. One place there was an extension of the self wherein मेरा लाडला है. The other place, उसका बच्चा कैसे परवरिश किया है. Am I getting across? Then when it is out of that oneness, love becomes natural. And as Gurudev says, when love is thick, problems are thin. When problems are thick, it means love is thin. The thickness and thinness of the love is because where am I? Am I on the point of divisiveness or am I on the point of oneness? And oneness here from the standpoint of the highest and nothing but that highest. That this Atma Chaitanya alone and there is nothing other than it. When Buddha came across Angulimala, he was warned. That fellow is cruel, he is a psycho, he kills people and cuts their finger and stitches it into a mala as a souvenir. Buddha still walks through that dense forest. And first thing this Angulimal sees is there is no fear in this man. He is not pretending to be afraid, but he is not scared. And he is having a very compassionate look at me. This is strange. So he asks him, "Hey, तुमको डर नहीं लगता? Are you not afraid? Are you not scared?" He says, "Why should I be scared looking at my own hand or my own leg? I see you as my own extension." And just that simplicity of that statement had such profoundness that a psycho who wouldn't care about the repercussions of killing people and crudely wearing their anga as a souvenir, he said, "Baba, there is something very peculiarly great about what you just said. I want to be there. Can you show me?" He said, "Go to that lake, take a bath, drop all of this and walk with me." And he became one of the greatest students of Buddha. When a psycho can change, that is where my whole example is to. We may have some aberrations, but we are not that cruel or that crude. When he has an opportunity to change and grow, you and me certainly stand a great chance. When Angulimala can become Ananda, when Ratnakara can become Valmiki, you and I can definitely become that which we already are, that which is our own Atma Chaitanya. So what is this perspective? He says with an example. mṛdaha yadvadghaṭādīnaṃ. When you see different sizes and shapes and forms and names of clay, as a cup, as a saucer, as a flower vase, as a plate, as a cooking pot, you don't have to powder it into its nascent value to understand, acha, all of this was clay only. You don't have to break it, you just see that behind and beyond all the names and forms and utility, there has always been one tattva which is clay. See, your girl is getting married, and for her security and beautification, you buy gold. Whether it is in the bracelet form or the ring form or the earring form or the golden belt. Vaddana. ఈ పక్క వంకి ఆ పక్క వంకి చంద్రచూడ సూర్యచూడ whatever are the names. At the end of the day, when hisab kitab is being done, you have taken painstakingly created all of that and gifted it to your daughter, but at the end of the day, when you and the samdi sit together and say 15 tola sona diya. Names, forms, shapes, utility, meaningless. You yourself understand it. What is the baseline? Sona diya hai. Tattva Jnana. That Tattva Jnana is about realizing the nature of the names and forms called A-U, right? Gold. That is its nature, that is its vastavika satta, that is its paramarthika satta. Vyavaharika satta is different. I like it, I don't like it, I think it would really enhance my beauty. That is pratibhasika satta. Assumed illusion. Vyavaharika satta as to how it is being utilized. Sometimes I am amazed, you wear it here, it is called a bangle. The same size and shape, you hang it here, it is called a earring. डालते इतने बड़े बड़े डालते कि नहीं? हाँ. But you have to call this as a bangle and that as a earring. Though the size, shape, everything looks similar. Utility may be different, name may be different, form may be different. That is the Vyavaharik Satta. From the Paramarthika Satta, it has been always gold. Nothing other than gold. Na vidyate yat kinchit. Other than gold, there is nothing else. Similarly, all the names and forms are my own extension supporting that names and forms, various utilities, relationships and interactions. It has always been, it shall always exist as this Atma Chaitanya only. When suddenly a mass of water rises from the ocean as a wave, or even Bhayankara as a tsunami, the impact of both of these may be different, but in its essential reality, Paramarthika Satta, it has never ceased to be water. Trikala abadhita vastu. That is called the Sat Swarupa. Therefore, it's a Satta. The three states of water: liquid, ice and gas, vapor. In all these three states, its nature remains the same. Sapidity, wetness is its nature. I am not talking about a poetic gesture, but have you ever had an opportunity to walk through the clouds? The first time I had that experience was when I was walking from Gangotri to Gomukh. It was a very new experience. The clouds were there and the mountain can be seen above. And the path that I was walking on was through those clouds. And all through I was thinking, chalo acha hua. If it were raining, I had to pull out my backpack, take out all of those things, wear them all and then start walking. These are only clouds. When I reached across to a particular stop place where all of us had gathered to have a cup of tea or something, that is when I realized we crossed the clouds. And everybody were looking at me laughing, right? Thoroughly wet. That is the day when I understood Trikala Abadita Vastu, the water tattva is the truth. Even in its gaseous state, it is with the nature of wetness. Because earlier I had the experience of water wets, ice wets, In a gaseous form also it wets. Realized. पानी पानी हो गया मैं. I realized the water tattva. Similarly, that which is undisturbedly homogeneous mass of existence, just because we see the plurality, has never been shattered, never been divided. It has always remained akhanda. Just like the clay remains akhanda, the clay tattva doesn't get shattered. Similarly, this Atma Chaitanya tattva never gets broken or shattered. This is the perspective of the Atmajna. Svātmānaṃ sarvamīkṣate. Sees the self in and through everything, every being. In net result, what should be the sadhana to be understood? Divisiveness, meaning away from spiritual existence, being unspiritual. Closer to oneness or being the oneness is being spiritual. I am not trying to wipe away the divisions. Impossible. All that I am trying to do is change my perspective to transcend the divisions that are perceived, to see the substratum which is oneness. Am I getting across? Continuing. जीवन्मुक्तस्तु तद्विद्वान् पूर्वोपाधिगुणांस्त्यजेत् सच्चिदानंदरूपत्वात् भवेद्भ्रमरकीटवत्. जीवन्मुक्तः तद्विद्वान् पूर्वोपाधिगुणांस्त्यजेत्. पूर्व upadhi, those equipments and the limitations that were born out of those equipments, that which was associating and attached with and behaving as though I was not just the instrument but also the limitation. Tani tyaktva, having given that up. Whenever we hear Vedanta, we feel this is so abstract. I don't know how do I practice in life. See, this Viveka we apply in day-to-day life, in every aspect of it. It is not Tattva Viveka, but we have Viveka in all walks of life. How do you eat a banana? Simple question. How do you eat a banana? Even the monkey knows how to do it. And what do you do with that? Do we get sentimental? I love that word, sentimental. Every centimeter of life we become mental. Supposing the banana was given by your beloved. In love, people do certain things which I don't know how to understand. Supposing they give, the first time the chocolate, or you keep the wrapper, a keepsake in the book somewhere, and you see that, and then khayalon mein something to remember by. The same beloved gave you banana. You eat. Do you put that tokka as a keepsake? Thankfully you don't. Therefore we cannot say tokkalo prema. Do you become sentimental? If not for the skin and the wrap around this banana, how would this banana have reached so far, gone through the fields, and the farmer picked it and sold it into the market, and the market brought it to the shop, the shopkeeper sold it. All this while the fruit, that which is the essence of banana, it has always protected. Oh banana peel, how can I throw you away? As soon as it is done, the peel has no appeal. You mercilessly reject it. Swami, कैसे कर सकते हैं ऐसे? बेचारा. It is the same kind of foolish logic we apply in all the other kinds of life. Don't we? After going home, don't tell people that what was the Vedanta told. Tokkalo Vedanta chepparu. The same kind of mindset wherein the instrument has its limitation, understand the limitation. See, I am more of a hands-on kind of a person, that when there is some work happening, I also participate like any other volunteer. The other day, Hanumanji got an abhisheka, a clean, thorough wash. Earlier, I would have also lifted. But now, after the surgery, I am told I should not lift weights. So I was standing there watching. And I also excused myself. I said, look, there is a limitation created. I understand the limitation. And therefore, I cannot push beyond the limitation. There will be limitation. Understand the limitation. Don't become limited. Use it to the point where it can functional properly and the most effective way. But what we do is we compare. All of them are doing it. I am not able to. I only am not able to do it. The limitation is of that vastu. The upadhi and its limitations, tyaktva, having given up, jīvanmuktastu saccidānandarūpatvāt bhavet. Wherever there is sense of limitation, the subtlety of this expression is to that point wherein all of this is given up with the sukshma buddhi, tikshna buddhi. In 15th chapter, it says very clearly that you take the sword of detachment and cut aside all the attachments. Finally, the Upanishad says, Yena tyajasi tat apityaja. The one who is doing this of giving up, even that fellow has to be given up. And that completeness happens when I abide in my own true completeness, paripurnatva, saccidānandarūpatvāt. That all of this gets the satta of perception only because I am that Satsvarupa. They are cognized because only that I am that Chaitanya Rupa. Seem to give a fleeting moments of joy because I am Ananda Rupa. It is because of this nature that reflects there, not the other way around. What would I have done without all of this? You would have been in a better place. And somebody says, Swamiji, what would we have done without you here? You would have been in a better place, Baba. Everything that which is experienced is a borrowed entity. It is the substratum is me who is supporting it. So, the sadhana again, divisiveness is being unspiritual. Oneness as the Atma Chaitanya is getting closer to that spiritual state of being. If that is understood and try being applied, then sadhana begins. We'll stop here. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om